Hey everybody, this is Doa, and we are with Game 2 between NaDa and Liquid TLO. NaDa soon to be OGS TLO. Again, that's pretty exciting to me. Liquid TLO saying hey again, which leads me to believe that these two games were not any sort of series or anything like that, no tournaments or anything. This was just two ladder matches where they happened to run into each other, and TLO or NaDa, one of the two, was kind enough to provide that to teamliquid.net to put on their website for everyone to enjoy and for me to cast and enjoy. So we're going to go ahead and get that started. Both players playing on Kulas Ravine. Of course both players are playing on there. It'd be a little odd if one player was playing on Kulas Ravine and the other was playing on Delta Quadrant. That'd make it a little bit tough for one of them to win the game. TLO putting down his first supply depot there. And Kulas Ravine, if you didn't know, recently removed from the 1v1 match pool on ladder play. That surprised me a little bit. I mean, it looks like the cliffs just finally got to people. I always thought this was kind of an interesting map, and but that may be because I played Terran. Although, again, if you remember from my previous casts, I'm not a big fan of tanks, so I was not abusing that. Well, not the tanks anyway, maybe some other abuses. But anyway, it looks like we do have NaDa putting down his barracks. That's exciting, huh? And so both players still playing very standard in the opening, no cheese or anything like that going on. Players spawning in relatively close positions on Lost Temple. Lost Temple. Kulas Ravine. I just got done talking about what map this is. It's Kulas Ravine. Anyway, looks like TLO about to put down that gas, but deciding not to for some reason. That's a little bit interesting. I wonder what he's planning to do. He may be going for a 1 Rax fast expand. That would be really the only opening I can think of that isn't super cheesy, that doesn't involve gas at the regular time. Looks like NaDa putting down his first gas, so NaDa's still following with more of a standard build. TLO happening to scout in exactly the right direction, so he is going to find NaDa early on in this match. Barracks just finishing now for NaDa. And it looks like we do have that orbital command going up. Looks like orbital command going up for both players. And TLO starting to pump Marines out of that first barracks. And looks like he is saving up. We're going to have to see if he does anything with these minerals here in a second. Looks like he is saving up, so it looks like TLO going to be going for that 1 Rax fast expand, unless he's planning on something totally unexpected. But it is NaDa versus TLO, so I would not be surprised to see something totally unexpected. That wouldn't be weird at all. NaDa's Marine chasing down the SCV by TLO. TLO heading out, seeing that a barracks and then another barracks with a tech lab, so he can pretty much assume that NaDa is going to be going some sort of early Marine Marauder composition. Looks like NaDa, yep, building his first Marauder there. So TLO getting pretty much all the information he needs early on. And yeah, it looks like TLO going for that 1 Rax fast expand build. So that does involve putting down 1 barracks, building your command center, and then we probably are going to see 2 more barracks go down here fairly shortly. There is barracks number 2. Probably going to see barracks number 3 fairly soon. Looks like NaDa putting a reactor on that barracks, so he's going Marine Marauder, sending out that first Marauder to take a look at some things. Oh no, actually NaDa destroying those rocks. So it looks like NaDa just wants to bust straight across the middle and attack TLO head on. So NaDa going for some very aggressive play. TLO camping out at the Zelnaga watchtower, but he's not going to see any attacks coming in from here. So it looks like NaDa may be able to get the jump on TLO. TLO does scan. He will see that barracks and the reactor going down, so he can be reasonably sure that NaDa is indeed going Marine Marauder. Nothing out of the ordinary quite yet. NaDa researching stim, it looks like, and TLO with that third barracks just finishing. So TLO just finally getting his first gas now, so he is going to be relying on a heavy amount of Marines getting ready to destroy those destructible rocks, although that is going to take quite a while with that force of Marines. Marines not the best against those rocks. Command center just finishing now, and TLO is putting up a bunker because he will be expecting some sort of early aggression. That Marine Marauder ball growing ever larger for NaDa. He already has it rallied to attack those rocks, that is, after the first rocks are down. And NaDa just pretty much pumping out Marine Marauders this time. At this time, doesn't look like any more tech buildings at all going up for him. Meanwhile, TLO putting down nothing new as well, though he is turning that into an orbital command bunker down for TLO. Is getting a pretty significant amount of Marines, so I think TLO is probably going to be okay with this first push. Although Marine Marauder can be very nasty. Looks like stim almost finishing there for NaDa. I love these new production tabs where you can see everything finishing. That is one of the coolest things that Blizzard has done for replays in this game yet. I love it, so thank you, Blizzard. That was awesome. Looks like NaDa will be moving in now with this Marine Marauder ball, but I think TLO is probably going to be okay. Although stim now just finishing just in time for NaDa. Wow, great timing. If he intended that, that was awesome. So Stim just finishing now. NaDa being a little bit hesitant at that choke at the front of TLO's base. He does see one bunker. Stim's in. It looks like he's going to be able to take down this bunker very quickly. Marines coming in for TLO. TLO forced to pull back a little, bring SCVs off the line to help defend this attack. So TLO a little bit shaky in this start, but NaDa has to pull back those Marauders and Marines having taken some damage now. TLO building another bunker. He needs to hold this off. Looks like TLO is getting combat shields now for his Marines, as well as a 4th barracks. Some SCVs coming out to help defend just in case, although it does look like NaDa has pulled back. And NaDa getting a little bit bold, taking the gold expansion. Although when you are putting early pressure on your opponent, it is easier to secure that gold on this map. So NaDa's income is going to be a lot higher in a short time here. TLO, though, already with that expansion ready whenever he wants to move that up to that upper base there, I guess you could call it. He'll be able to swing his economy into higher gear. Looks like a 5th barracks going down for TLO. So TLO going for mass Marines at this point. That's already a lot of Marines out on the field. Looks like, yeah, 22 Marines for TLO. So this isn't really quite as typical as you see with that 1 racks fast expand. Usually after the 2nd and 3rd racks, you'll see some sort of other deviation. But TLO just bringing out mass Marines. And Marines can be very effective in high numbers, especially against the bio ball like this, because there's simply less units attacking in this army than there would be in this army, even though each unit is technically doing less damage. Although if TLO does get stim, that is going to even things out. So TLO still looking very solid on Kulas Ravine, sending one SCV to bring some presents, a little mineral present for the bio ball, but they don't want any of it. They don't need those minerals. They have rockets and their stim packs. TLO scanning, he is going to be able to see that bio ball. And it looks like TLO deciding to move out with mass Marines. Let's go to the production tab. Looks like stim only about halfway done for TLO, so TLO relying on just sheer numbers in this particular case. And it looks like TLO is going to have to move up the ramp to engage this. Not a stimming, but TLO able to get a little bit of a concave. That concave slightly larger for TLO. And it looks like he is going to be able to handle this Marine Marauder ball easier than I thought he would, actually. TLO coming out fairly well in terms of that. If we go to the units tab, TLO still with 13 Marines, whereas NaDa's down to 1 Marauder and 2 Marines. So NaDa looking a little bit shaky at the moment, but NaDa also going with mass barracks, although he did take a lot of time to put the reactor and the tech lab on these 3rd and 4th barracks, so that did slow down his production a little bit. And TLO moving in with this group of Marines. I don't think it's going to be enough. NaDa stimming again, and TLO may be able to actually take this out. Yeah, wow, TLO able to take out that 2nd Marine Marauder ball for NaDa. TLO looking very strong with these mass Marines here. Stim not finished quite yet. Looks like it actually did just finish. Yeah, so TLO now does have stim, but it doesn't look like he's going to need it. Although NaDa is going to be able to push this back eventually at some point. And yeah, so NaDa does push it back. TLO forced to re-rally his Marines and camp out a little bit outside of NaDa's base, although NaDa's force is looking a little bit strong there. And TLO sending out a scouting Marine to see if he can find anything else. TLO pulling back to his base. Meanwhile, NaDa securing his choke point here. He's going to move out, take a little bit more of an aggressive posture. Although, oh, TLO is going to see this gold expansion, and he's going to do a little bit of damage to those SCVs, but those SCVs going to be able to drive back that Marine. They are going to be able to get that kill. And NaDa coming in to make sure that that Marine doesn't cause any trouble, but the SCVs are like, no, don't worry about it. We got it. Our drills will pierce the heavens. That's what SCVs say. They get very excited. They get hot blood when they see a Marine coming into their mineral lines. They get thirsty for violence. Meanwhile, TLO able to take that top base there, getting both gas. So TLO starting to do starting to tech up a little bit there. And so TLO adding on 2 factories and another barracks. So TLO up to a total of 6 barracks and a starport with the reactors. He's going to be going for some medevacs there. NaDa moving back across the map with more of his own Marines and a few Marauders thrown in. Although TLO does look very strong, especially with those medevacs. I don't think that's going to be much of a problem. NaDa poking in, taking a few shots at that barracks. And NaDa actually is looking like a pretty beefy force. TLO stimming and pushing NaDa back there. NaDa not quite sure how many units TLO has at this point. And it looks like NaDa is going to move in now after that scan. He does see TLO has a little bit smaller force. TLO stimming to move back. A little bit of an early stim though, but those medevacs are going to be able to keep those Marines healed. TLO intelligently trying to stave things off until his tanks do arrive. First tank is on the way, but siege mode is only half finished at the moment. Looks like another medevac coming out for TLO. And NaDa does move in, stims down. It looks like he's going to be able to take out this factory very quickly. And TLO moves in, getting that nice concave as well as that tanks. with those medevacs. That medevac is going down for TLO, but the tanks plus the Marines is going to be able to hold off NaDa. I think TLO is going to be just fine here. Now TLO looking very strong with that Marine tank composition, especially those Marines with stim and those medevacs to sort of take care of the damage from stim. Compensate, that's the word I was looking for, to compensate for the damage from stim. There we go, English language skill +1. Alright, couple SCVs coming in here to repair some of the tanks that took some damage. Meanwhile, if we go back to NaDa's base, NaDa's still massing Marine Marauders, although he is getting medevacs of his own at this point. No upgrades yet, although the engineering bay is down. NaDa adding on, this is very StarCraft 1, adding on barracks 7 and 8. Actually, that's 6 and 7. Math skill -1. So barracks 6 and 7 for NaDa. NaDa going for a very heavy barracks play, but where he does have that gold expansion, he's going to need to have a way to spend all that. TLO moving out across the map here. Was some little battle, but I didn't quite see what happened there. And it looks like this army with TLO. Siege mode does finish, and NaDa is going to be defeated easily at this point. Those Marines going to be forced back. And NaDa looks like he is in serious trouble at the moment. These tanks going to be leapfrogging TLO, leaving that one sieged in the back to provide some cover for these tanks moving up. Those SCVs doing some repairing on that tank. One tank does go down for TLO, but TLO able to push up, and NaDa forced back again with that tank damage. Tank sieging up across the little gully there, and able to do some serious damage to the bio ball of NaDa. Doesn't look like NaDa is going to be able to stand up for this, or to this rather. And yeah, it looks like TLO is just going to be able to slowly tank push into NaDa's base. Oh, that must have been NaDa's factory that blew up above the high ground there. So yeah, TLO, NaDa stemming in to try to do a little bit of damage, but not focusing those tanks. NaDa does GG, so TLO takes this quote-unquote series of 2 games. Not really a series, but just 2 games between them. TLO does win both of them. And so yeah, TLO with some interesting play, going mass Marine barracks into some siege tanks, whereas NaDa going bio ball into more mass bio ball. Interesting game there on Kulas Ravine. Don't see a lot of players breaking down those center rocks too often, so that was fun. If you like the cast, like what you see there, please subscribe. I'm going to be putting up a lot more StarCraft 2 in the future. We've got a PvP coming up. That's pretty cool. And then also some replays of Maro playing Zerg. That's going to be fun to cast. I'm interested to see what happens there. Otherwise, thanks again for watching. This is Doa StarCraft. I should learn how to say my own name. And I'll see you guys on the next cast. Keep playing StarCraft.